Okay, so in the last session we discussed what? Router transformation. Router, is this the folder which we are working? Yeah. So the last session we discussed what? Router transformation, and we have seen how to extract the data from flat file and load into flat file. Okay. So today what we'll see, after extracting the data from flat file, extracting the data from flat file, if you see here, I have columns like customer name, age, location, gender. Okay. What I would like to do while loading the data into target table, I would like to load gender with female into one table and gender with male into another table and unknown information into some other table. This is my requirement. Okay. So my source is a flat file. I want to load male into database table, female into database table, and unknown information into flat file. This is nothing but file to file loading as well as file to database loading. In file, I want to load the unknown gender information, and in the database, I would like to load the male and female information. This is my requirement. Okay. Okay. So let us see how to do this. So how to import a flat file, guys? Click on source analyzer. When you click on source analyzer, here you okay. First of all, let me drop the existing file. Not drop. Let me clear the existing source file. Right click, click on clear all. Click on sources, click on import from file. At which location your file is there, go to that particular location, go to that particular location and click on all files. Then you can see the txt files. Okay, whatever file you want, click on OK. Okay, I told you when you get a first record in a file as header, enable this option so that you will start loading the data into target table with the records, not with the header. If you don't get a header, they don't enable this option. This is what I told you, right? And I told you there are two type of flat files: delimited flat file, fits with flat file, right? This way you import a file. Click on save. Know what I want? My source is ready. So how many tables I want now? Three tables, two database tables, one is the flat file. Two database tables, one is the flat file. Okay. So what are the different ways to create a table? You can connect to database, you can connect to database, and you can create table structure here, and using Informatica, you can import that particular table structure. This is one way. And the second way is if you have a similar structure in, okay, the second way is click on targets, click on create, give a name, click on create and add all the columns what you require. This is the second way. And the third way of creating a target table is if you have a similar structure in source, if you have a similar structure in source, just drag it, then what else you need to do? Rename the table structure as per your standards, not rename, add the columns whatever you require and rename the table. Okay, here what you can see, guys, database type as flat file. I want to load into database, two database tables and one flat file. So what should I do? I need to select the Oracle database, click on rename and name something like tb underscore customer underscore mail. Okay, click on apply, click on OK. This is one table. Again, I'm dragging the same structure, dropping it in target designer, double clicking here, clicking on this database type as Oracle because my end system is Oracle. Rename. Okay. Two database tables and one flat file. So what should I put here? Database type as flat file only. Rename. I'll be renaming something as flat file underscore customer underscore unknown. So these are the three tables. These are the three tables. If you understand me properly, two are database tables and one is a flat file. In this database table, I want to load male, in this female, and in this file, I want to capture all the unknown customers whose gender is not equal to male or not equal to female. First of all, connect to the database. So what is our schema? Batch 52. Okay. Can you see this table structures? TB customer male, TB customer female. Can you see these table structures? No, because I have not yet clicked on generate and execute SQL. I could not see those names, right? So what should I do? Select the tables which you would like to generate in database, right? See, Informatica is a tool. End of the day, Informatica loads the data at some system. In that system, if table structures are not there, then where it will load? So what is the checkpoint? You need to generate the table structures into the database, what you want, where you want to create. Click on generate and execute SQL. Okay. Click on don't forget to enable this option. Let this option be enabled. Click on generate and execute. From this drop down, select the ODBC connection which you just created. Okay. Enter the credentials. Enter the credentials. Click on connect. Okay. So who has written this sequels? Is this a sequel to create a table? Is this a sequel to create a table? ఇదే కదండి sequel. This is a sequel to create a table, right? Create table, table name, bracket open, column name, data type. And this is the second sequel. So who has written this sequel? Informatica has written the sequels. Now connect to your database. Click on refresh. Can you see the tables which got created? Are these the tables which I just created? This is the female table and this is the male table. There is only structure. There is no data in it. There is only structure, but there is no data in it. So what should I do? Now, using Informatica as an ETL tool, I need to extract the data from this particular file. Based on the filter conditions, I need to load the data into this particular table. So you can ask me a question. So you are ensuring that whatever table structure you created in Informatica that exists in the database. Then why you are not checking for this particular file? Do you have this file in the backend? You understand my question? You are double checking that this table structure exists in the database. This table structures exist in the database. But how about this file structure? Do you have this file structure in your backend? No. Then your session will fail, right? If there is no file structure. As per my understanding, if table structure is not there in database, your session get fails. In the same way, even though if your file doesn't exist in the backend, your session has to fail, right? Yeah. The thing is, Informatica can't create the table structures in the runtime. When you give the relational connections in the session and when you execute the job, in the runtime, Informatica can't create the table structures. But whatever directory path you give to create a fat file, in a runtime, Informatica will create a file structure as well as it inserts data into that particular file. What I'm trying to tell you is when you load the data into database tables, you need to ensure there should be table structures in the database. When you're loading data into database, you need to ensure the table structures should exist in the database. But when you're loading the data into flat file, if you give the file directory path, then in the runtime, a file structure will be created as well as data will be inserted into that particular file. Okay, so that you need to ensure. Okay, so now what I will do, I'll just save the things whatever I have done. My source is ready and my targets are ready. What is the next step? I need to create the mapping. So click on this mapping designer. Click on the C. If you click on this icon, then sources will get open. If you click on this icon, targets will get open. If you click on this icon, mapping is going to be open. Click on mappings, click on create. So what should I give the mapping name? M followed by some meaningful name. Some meaningful name. Okay. Now this window is called as mapping designer window. This window is called as mapping designer window. In this window, drag the required source, and drag the required target into the mapping design. This is one table, this is another table, and this is flat file. Okay, this is my requirement, right? Okay. So when you drag a source, you're getting which default transformation? Source qualifier transformation. When you drag a source, you're getting source qualifier as the default transformation, right? So what is the significance of source qualifier transformation? Source qualifier transformation is the default transformation in Informatica which converts source source derived into which integration service understands. Source qualifier is a default transformation in Informatica which converts the source data types into which integration service understands. So what should I do now? Click on transformation, click on create a router, RTR underscore split, some meaningful name. Click on create, click on done. Now what you need to do? First of all, drag the ports. Select all, drag it and drop it. What else you need to do? You need to add a filter conditions. So how will you add a filter conditions? Double click on the header of the router transformation. Double click on the header of the router transformation. Click on the groups. Okay. So what conditions I need to add? First filter condition, gender equal to male. Another filter condition, gender equal to female. Another filter condition where I capture the unknown information. So how should I do? Double click, click on groups, click on add a group. Okay. So name. It's up to you. Whatever name you want, you can name it. Now what logic I need to write here? Click on ports. Gender equal to what? Male. Gender equal to male. Then in another filter condition, name that particular group. And what logic I need to write? It's very simple. Gender equal to okay. Click on validate. Click on okay. Okay. So router transformation. You can apply n number of filter condition, and the records which are not met with the filter condition are captured in the default group. That is what router transformation tells you, right? Router transformation where you can apply n number of filter conditions, and the records which are not met with the filter conditions are captured in the default group. So what filter condition will be default group? Gender not equal to M and not equal to F. Those type of information will be stored in the default group. Nothing but all the rejected records are stored in the default group. Okay. So click on apply, click on OK. Now pass the links. So all the male to male, female to female, and default group. If you want, you can pass that group, or else you can ignore it. But in this scenario, I want to pass because I want to capture all the unknown customers also. Save it. So this is a okay. So what this is a mapping which extracts the data from flat file and loads the data into database as well as flat file based on the filter conditions. If gender equal to M, it is loading into database table. If gender equal to F, it is loading into some other database table. And if gender not equal to M and not equal to F, it is capturing in a file. Okay. Once your mapping is done, what else you need to do? You need to create a session. So whenever you work with source and target, you need to ensure If it's a database, you need to give the relational connections. If it is a flat file, you need to give the directory path. So what you need to do, click on clear all. Click on task, click on create, S followed by mapping name. Yep. Click on create, and this is a session. Click on, this is a mapping which I want to point. Click on OK. Okay. Now double click the session. Double click the session. Click on the mappings. Click on the source. Go to the directory path where your file exists. Click on copy. Then what you need to do, guys? You need to give the source file directory path. Okay. And is this a file which you want to extract? Yes. No, again, data. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you are loading data into database, you need to give the relational connection of the database. This I'll tell you why I'm doing. Target. And you know what happens if you enable truncate target table option. But when you're loading the data into flat file, what you need to give? You need to give the directory path where you want to see the file. You need to give the directory path where you want to see the file and with what name you want to see the file. I would like to see with .csv. Okay. When you're loading the data into a flat file, you need to give the directory path of the file and you need to give the with what file name you would like to see the file. Click on apply, click on OK. Now what you need to do, save it. So what is the last step? Click on workflow. See, if you practice it for 3 to 4 times, you'll understand all these steps. It's not that much complicated, just a series of steps. That's it. In a one shot, you won't understand this. You need to do a, you need to go through the recorded session, or you need to put your hands on the keyboard. If you practice it for 2 times, then third time you will get it. This is just some 10 to 12 steps. That's it. And daily we'll do the same things. Nothing changed. Here only the transformations are going to change. That's it. Everything will be same. Workflow, start workflow. Right click, click on get run properties. Okay. So 25 records are read from source and 25 records are loaded into target tables. But if you want to see individually in which table how many records got, click on the source target statistics. Now you can see here. So guys, from source how many records are read? 25 records. So in the male how many records are loaded? In the female 4 and unknown into 6. Now go to database, just refresh this. You can see all the male related information here. Okay, if you click here, all the female related information. Now what else? What else is the requirement? You need to see the unknown customers. So where is that unknown customers loaded? It is into flat file. So today date is 24th March. So is this a file generator? Double click. These are all the unknown customers. But the thing is this an unknown customer? No. This is also male. So why I am getting this data here, guys? This should be loaded into female and male table, right? Why I am getting here? Any question? Any answer? Simple.
Uppercase.
Yeah, it's SQL is a case sensitive. SQL is a case sensitive. So what you have done is you checked with an uppercase. You checked with an uppercase, but here from source you are getting in lowercase. My client has just told me a requirement saying that I'm least bothered if a gender is M or F. Sorry, if it is in uppercase or if it's in lowercase. Because as data collection happens in different way, some might collect in uppercase and some might collect in lowercase. If I see M, I would like to see in my target table. If I see F, I would like to see in my female table. I'm least bothered whether I'm getting data in uppercase or lowercase. That you need to handle. Then what you do? What you do? What you have to do is double click on the router transformation, click on the groups. Here, this is the data which you are getting from source, gender equal to male. You are comparing with the uppercase. So whatever format you get in source, first of all convert into uppercase. Why I am converting into uppercase? Because I'm checking with the uppercase M, right? What I'm trying to tell you is whatever format you get from source, first of all convert that format into uppercase, then check with the filter condition which is in uppercase. If that M is in lowercase, then I would have not go with upper. I would have go with lower. In the same way, then what happens if you have data in this format? Space M. Will that satisfy this requirement? Space M. No, space M is not equal to M, right? Then what you need to do to achieve, to load the data into what I'm trying to tell you is if if I have a data in this format, okay. So whenever your mapping is changed, what you need to do? Save it. Then what else? Execute the workflow? No. Refresh the session because session should point the latest mapping. If you get this symbol, that means session got refreshed. Click on save. Now let me execute the workflow and see what is output. Okay. Earlier it was 7, I believe. Now it is 5. Earlier it was 6. Now it is 5. Now see the data. Male to male. Can you see here? Lowercase and female to lowercase f to f. Earlier this were in what do you say? Unknown. Now see the flat file which got delivered. So where is M? I could not see anything here. Why? I need to see a value, right? Where is that value? Any guesses? Why I'm getting blank space here? For Kishore, what is the status? For Kishore, what is the status? It's a male. Then why I'm not able to see male or female or unknown? I'm not able to see anything, right? Why you think so? Yeah, yeah. Why I'm not able to see the first character? Because the length what I have given here is if you look at my target system or else if you look at my source system, what is the length you have given, guys? What is the length you have given for gender? You had just given one, but from source, how many characters you are getting? Space M, two characters. So what should I do to fix this? Double click this source, click on gender, and increase the length. Okay, let me for safe side. Let me put 3. What's wrong? Save it. Now what else you need to do? You need to change it in the target also, right? Then only it will work, right? Because while inserting, it will again drop the record. No need to change in the target because what? Okay, let me change it. Why I'm telling no need to change means because I'm removing the spaces. If I remove the spaces, then what is going to happen? You get only one character, right? But okay, for your understanding, let me change it. But database, whenever you make any changes, what you need to do, guys? You need to drop the table and you need to re-execute. This is what I told you in the beginning. Whenever you make any changes in the database, that will not directly update in the database. You need to click on generate and execute SQL. Okay. Yeah. Now what else you need to do? See, I don't want to go to individual transformation and don't want to change this gender. So what I'm going to do, I'll just click here. So what is the data? What is the length here? Oh, how come it has not changed? I have changed, right? 3. I have changed it to 3. Did I? Okay. If you see, I have changed it in the file called as customer 7. But in my mapping, I'm using a file called as customer 4. And I have changed the requirement in customer 7. That's the reason in a mapping I could not see it got changed. Okay. Now see, what I'll do, I don't connect to each and every transformation and I change this to 3. Here there are only 3 transformations, but in real time you have n number of transformations in the mapping. Will you connect to each transformation and will you change the length? Yes, you can, but it's a time taking process and you are not a machine, you are a human, you might make mistakes. So what I would like to do, in a one step, I would like to change all the length of the genders. Right click, propagate attribute. Okay. What you need to click, guys? Propagate attribute. Okay. Forward means it will go into the forward. Backward means from where you select from backward transformations will change. Both means forward as well as backward. Propagate. Can you see? Did the length got changed? Did the length got changed? Right? So how I have done that? Right click on propagate attribute, click on propagate. That's it. Whatever code you developed, you need to save it. Now your mapping got changed. What you need to do? Refresh. This is the step what you need to remember and save it. Click on workflow, click on workflow, click on start workflow. Now you can see an information called as mail in the unknown information. Can you see? But why it is captured here? It has to capture in the target table, right? Why it is captured here? Because in the filter condition, you are not checking with the space m, you are checking with only m. So how do I fix this? Remove the spaces. So how to remove the spaces? In database there's a function called as ltrim, ltrim, rtrim. So what this will do? What this will do? This will remove the spaces. Okay? You understand what I'm trying to tell here? I'm removing the spaces, then I'm checking that character with the filter condition. If it matches, it will load into the target table. If not, it will drop. Save it. Okay?
Vamshi,
Yeah.
how can I find all? How can I find the method names in Informatica? I mean, if I don't know something LTrim or RTrim, then I wanted to find trim methods. What are the kind of trim methods in Informatica? How can I do that?
What are the kind of?
I mean, methods we have in Informatica. I
What
mean, you are
what
doing some
methods?
LTrim. No, you are doing LTrim RTM, right?
Right.
So you know well about Informatica. That's why you are doing LTrim
That's
RTM.
great. You can
So I
just
don't know.
yeah, I understand. You can just double click here, click on the groups, click here. Okay. Now you don't know what functions we need to use. What you can see here? Here you can see whatever function you want. These are nothing but SQL functions. These are nothing but SQL functions. You can see every function here. If you would like to see this length, if you would like to find out the length of a string, when you click on length, it will tell you what it will do. If you don't understand this length function, what it do, then click on help. Click on help. Click on, you are not able to understand how length function works. Click on length. Is it clear? It will tell you how length function works. In the same way, whatever SQL function you want to use, everything it will tell. But you need to know which function you have to use. This no one will tell you. That function how it works, it will explain here. This is your question, right?
Thank you.
This was
Got it.
your question, right?
So is there? Yeah, right, right. Is there any possibility to write our own methods, own functions?
In Informatica, you can't use your own SQL function. Whatever SQL functions you have in database, those SQL functions only you can use. Transforming, cleansing. Cleansing means what? Cleaning the data. So cleansing is generally done with SQL functions like ltrim, rtrim, substring, instring, toDate, toChar, decode, if statement, etc. You can also write your own functions that are called user-defined functions. You can define your own function with here user-defined functions. Okay, but it's not
Thank,
required. You won't get
thank you.
that requirement to create a user-defined function. Generally, Informatica has
Okay,
provided a lot of functions. You have to just use them. That's it. Okay. So this is the functions what you can use. Okay, these functions are nothing but SQL functions. These are functions. If you know SQL functions. What are SQL functions? Ltrim, substring, instring, toDate, toChar, toInteger, float, sum, int, maths, average, standard deviation, decode. These all are called as SQL functions. The same functions are listed here. Okay. Okay. So
I have
yeah, tell me.
why we are using both Ltrim and Rtrim. Ltrim is one enough, right? In
See,
that.
in database, you just have a trim function. If you go for trim, both left spaces and right spaces are removed. But I'm not sure I have spaces only at the left side. I'm assuming that I have spaces on right side also. That's the reason I went with
The right
L trim, R
side
trim.
isn't bother, right? If it is in
See,
the
in
right
this
side
in this
also.
scenario, you can only go for L trim. That's right. But I don't know how many spaces I have. I don't know whether I have a space at the start of string or at the end of the string. That's the reason I have used L trim, R trim. Altrim martrim is nothing but removing the spaces on the left, I mean, starting of the
Left
string.
and the right.
Sorry?
Yeah. So if we use only Ltrim, will it throw
Yeah, yeah.
any
That,
error?
that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's up to you. I just want to
Okay.
double check. That's the reason I used L-trim, R-trim.
Okay.
You do,
Okay.
if you want to use only L-trim, yes, you can. Nothing.
Okay. Okay.
I'm assuming that I'm also getting space at the end of the string. That's the reason I'm using right R-trim. It's up to you.
Okay.
Now this will load into database table. Earlier you have seen 5, now it's 4. See, you can ask me a question. What's happening to this file? Already some data was there in the file, right? So what's happening? File every time gets overwrite. You understand what is overwrite? The existing records will be dropped and new records will be created, overwritten. Can you see male here? No. You can't even see a female. So everything we achieved our requirement. Okay. So go to the backend and check whether male got created here. Yes, space M. Earlier it was not there. No, you can ask me a question. Vamshi, while loading the data, I don't want to see this lowercase m and I don't want to see space m because I would like to see my data in a fixed format. Can't I do that? Yes, you can do that, but not using with router transformation. There is some other transformation that is called as expression transformation, which I'll tell you later. Expression transformation. See, daily will follow the same steps. You drag the source, you drag the target, you create the mapping, you create the session, you create the start task, and you execute the workflow. The only thing changes here is in between transformations. Extraction, everyday same step. Loading, same thing. Then what changes? Transformations. What do you mean by transformations? Conversion of one form of data conversion of one form of data into another format as per the client requirement is called as transformation. To convert one form of data into another format as per the client requirement is called as transformation. There are two types of transformations in Informatica. One is called active and other one is called passive. So what is passive transformation? When data flow from source to target, number of records read from source will be equal to the number of records loaded into target table. What is active? When data flow from source to target, number of records read from source will not be equal to the number of records loaded into target table. So till now we discussed filter transformation and router transformation. Okay, so tomorrow I would like to give a lab. So practice it. If you have any questions, tomorrow will be a doubt session. We'll clear. We'll we will have a